You're on.
All right. It's Wednesday, 5:31 p.m. So we're a minute late. We apologize. We're having fun with technology again. Okay.
Did it just do something?
It looks like it's operating properly from my end.
Okay.
Okay. So welcome to Cooking with Kat and Steph. I'm Kat Ludwig.
Oh, hi. I'm Stephanie Pepper.
Yes.
I'm a speech pathologist.
I'm a dietitian, and we do Cooking with Kat and Steph every week. We talk about dysphagia. We answer your dysphagia questions. Often we have a specific topic. That topic today is going to be protein, because nutrition is so important for life, but when you have dysphagia specifically, you need adequate protein in order for your body to start to heal or to get to the most optimal state, the best state you could possibly be in for managing.
You need protein to build muscles. So bodybuilders are really heavy on protein intake. But protein is one of the hardest things for people with dysphagia to tolerate, to eat. So we try to address protein very frequently because the muscles, those little tiny muscles, so many of those muscles just need as much as you can give them.
The nourishment is so important.
Yes.
So protein is a term that was coined by a Dutch chemist in 1838, and it stands for the Greek word protos, which means of prime importance. So protein is of prime importance. Hi, Angie. Hi, Karen. If you're on, please say hello if you want to. If you're new here, welcome. We're so happy. Hi, Brittany. I miss you. I'll be in touch. Okay.
You said there's something wrong.
Yeah, we have some fuzziness on our videos today, so we apologize for that.
I wonder if it's on my phone.
We are working through the tech. It's sort of raining and weird outside. It's trying to storm. Is it okay if I strain my food after blending for every meal? Oh, Thomas, great question. Yes, it is.
Of course.
We have to figure out how to get the right things into you. Hi, Carol. At the level you're at. So if you need to strain it, that's okay.
Okay, I'm going to wipe
She's going to wipe the camera. Okay. It's going to be fine. Okay. So I am going to actually start on our recipe for today. So this recipe was submitted by one of the members in our membership for our recipe club that we held last weekend. So we have here some rotisserie chicken, freshly shredded. Hasn't even been refrigerated yet. Steph just got it at the store before she got home. And we are a big fan of using, pardon me, still fighting off this silly spring cold. We're a big fan of using dark meat when it comes to chicken, poultry, etc. Why do we like dark meat?
Well, because everybody knows that the white meat is just not as moist.
It's true.
Now, in a rotisserie chicken, especially a fresh rotisserie chicken, the breast meat is usually pretty moist.
Pretty moist. They add some salt water to it and whatnot. So
they do.
It does. It's okay. That's okay. But the thigh meat and the leg meat has more fat in it. So when it comes to blending, which we're going to talk about here in a bit, we need a little bit more fat. So I love this recipe. So we're going to do 2 cups of chicken. I am just chopping it so it's at a soft and bite-sized level, which is an IDDSI or International Dysphagia Diet level 6. So typically protein is easier for people at level 6 because they can still chew it. It doesn't require as much chewing. It's pretty soft. It's when we get to people who are on the pureed and the liquidized when protein becomes really, really difficult.
Yeah.
So what does protein do in your body? Stephanie already talked about muscles because that's the obvious answer, right? So that's great, but your body needs protein for more than just your muscles. So the enzymes that your body uses to digest your food are made of protein. Your hormones that help regulate your stress level and your female or your male hormones, your salt and kidney regulation of your blood pressure, your insulin levels, your hunger signals, all of those are made from hormones, which are vital that you have protein. They also need cholesterol. So we actually like cholesterol because your body needs cholesterol to make hormones, but that's not our topic today.
Some cholesterol. You don't need an overwhelming amount of cholesterol in swimming through your body.
Correct.
Okay, we're back on.
We're back on. Struggling with you keep freezing, Carol says. Yeah, I think we're having some trouble with the internet.
No, I keep getting texts.
Oh. Stephanie's an in-demand lady. Okay, so protein. All right, so I'm doing 2 cups of, it's a combination of white meat and dark meat. I'm just chopping it up. If you're not comfortable chopping like I'm doing here.
Hey, Kat, I have somebody that wants to come and say hi to everybody.
Oh my gosh, yes, please.
So we have a special guest today, everyone, and she really wants to come and say hi because she loves to cook too.
Yeah.
Come on in. This is Jalen.
Just wave right there at the camera.
You're going to be on there in just a second. Hold on. Yep. There's a little bit of a delay.
Yep. So we have it on so we can see the questions they're asking us, but there you are.
Oh.
Isn't that exciting?
So she's learning all about cooking too. So
yeah,
all good things.
Yes, it is. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Abe's like, what about me? Okay.
Everybody's seen him before.
Everybody knows him. Okay, so I'm just going to take this out of our bowl.
Oh, I was wondering what you wanted to do for a bowl.
I figured we'd just, here. You can, oh no, that's a good piece. So I figured we'd just make our sauce in the bowl that we had our chicken in.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to wash the chicken off my hands. Steph will put the excess back into storage.
Well, it's probably going to be dinner for everybody tonight, so.
Dinner's good. Okay, so chicken. We do chicken fairly often. We puree chicken fairly often. It's a tough one because when it's dry, we struggle with
it being dry, even when it's pureed with liquid.
Right. So, all right. So we've got our 2 cups here. We're going to do 3/4 cup of mayo. Actually, I'm going to do the sour cream first. So 1/4 cup of sour cream. I've never seen these sour cream bags until when I was at the store today, and then you had one. And so I'm very intrigued by this.
They work
pouch.
very well when they work.
When they work, except when there's a hole in the bag.
Yeah, a whole bunch of water.
Jumps out at me as I pull it out of the fridge. Okay. Hello from Stormy Dallas. Yes. Yep, it is okay if you have to puree your food. It's okay. Puree and then strain your food. It's okay.
Yeah, if you need it smooth, that's the best way to assure it to be smooth.
And you may need to add a little more liquid to get as much of it through your strainer as possible. You are going to lose a little bit, but that's okay because we need to meet you at the level you're at. Mm-hmm. It's totally fine. Okay, so I have 1/4 cup of sour cream. Now I'm going to add 3/4 cup of mayo and fill my 1 cup measure here. And then we have some hard-boiled eggs here. And I love that this recipe had hard-boiled eggs in it to begin with.
I did too.
Because you recommend this all the time for recipes we do.
I do.
Because, why? Why do you recommend this all the time?
Well,
Steph?
number one, there's lots of protein in an egg.
Yep.
And it helps when you blend boiled eggs, it blends to a very smooth consistency. So by adding it to chicken, which could be potentially dry when pureed, it's going to add a smoothness about it.
It's going to be...
Along with these fats that we're adding.
So...
Good fats.
So 3 eggs,
Fairly good fats.
2 cups of chopped chicken, 3/4 cup of mayo, 1/4 cup of sour cream. The recipe calls for chopped fresh dill. You could use dried also. And yellow mustard. We have dill mustard, so we're combining the 2 ingredients.
Well, mostly because we don't have dill.
But we have this, which is,
It
I
works.
think. So we're going to add, let's see, 1 tablespoon of mustard.
How many eggs did it call for, too?
3.
It did call for 3. Okay.
It did. And you
We're gonna
asked me if I wanted you to do 3, and I said yes, and then I looked at it and it said 3. So it worked out.
I'm going to get a bigger bowl for us to mix it all up in. This
Okay.
is going to be,
Not quite big enough?
I think so.
Okay. And then we have some scallions. They were dried, so we're just rehydrating them. And we may chop these a little bit more. Kara says, this sounds delicious. Imagine that. I think you may have sent us this recipe.
I think she did.
All right. Okay, so I got some sweet relish. So we're going to do a little bit of sweet relish. I think it's 1 tablespoon. So I'm just going to scoop, drop. Ooh, yeah. Okay, and then I have dill pickle spears, which are going to go in our handy dandy little choppa.
Oh, nice. So you're going to relish it.
I'm going to relish it. So this is when having a food processor of any size comes in handy. So I'm just going to take some pickles.
And we can drop the link to that little food processor later after we're done in the comments so that you guys, because this thing is such a lifesaver.
So handy. I didn't know when I spent $10 on this thing that it was going to be one of the best $10 I've ever spent.
Right.
Because you never know when you go. I got this at TJ Maxx. You never know if those things are going to work or not. All right. And it says 1 1/4 cups of chopped dill pickles. So I'm just going to start refilling my cup until I fill it up. Okay.
Chopped eggs.
Lovely. So eggs are really great too because not only are they high in protein, which we need for our gut and our hormones and our enzymes for digestion and our muscles, but eggs also have this mineral called choline, which is great for your brain. So eggs are
Brain food.
brain food, literally. Kara says your dog is being such a good boy.
Well, because he got a piece of chicken a minute ago. Not because he's wanting to be good.
He is a good boy though.
He is.
He listens pretty well. Okay, so you need all 20 amino acids. So proteins are made up of amino acids. And you need all 20 in order to have a healthy body in all of your food. So vegetarian foods that are high in protein are not complete. So they don't have all 20. They'll be missing a few. So this is why we need to combine foods when it comes to vegetarian sources of protein like beans and rice or toast and peanut butter, because we need the combination of foods in order to get a complete protein. Whereas in eggs or chicken, we get all of those amino acids in a smaller size, but this is also why they don't puree as well, because they're more densely compact.
Because the protein fibers or strands are so densely packed. That's why it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's why it's kind of gritty.
Yeah.
Not eggs. Eggs puree beautifully.
Yep. Okay. And then will you add
The bigger.
a bigger bowl?
Yeah.
I was hoping.
Yeah, I forgot.
Will you add about it says a third of a teaspoon. I'm going to say a quarter of a teaspoon because I'm going to guess we don't have a third teaspoon
Of what?
size of the garlic. Ooh, these pickles, the other great thing is there's a lot of moisture in these. So this is going to puree pretty darn well, I think. Mm-hmm. I got measuring cups or spoons right here.
Oh.
But I got relish in that one, so the tablespoon is wet. I was trying to keep
And
them
we want
apart.
teaspoon or tablespoon?
Or a quarter of a teaspoon. Just a little bit. Do you think this is enough pickle? It's not a cup and a quarter, but I feel like 3/4 of a cup of pickle is probably enough. What do you think? What do you guys think?
You don't want to follow the recipe, all right.
Sometimes when I don't want to mess with the pickles, I just do the juice. That's a great idea too, because you still get the flavor, and then sometimes you don't have to deal with the texture if you're worried. Beautiful.
But it called for a third?
It called for a third of a teaspoon, yes, which I feel like is a weird amount.
It is. But I'm going to add just a little bit more because that's a little bit more.
I'm for it. I love garlic.
Who doesn't love garlic? I'm sure that there are plenty, but
Do you want to add some salt and pepper to this also?
of course.
So even when we're doing a cold item that we're not necessarily cooking, we're still going to season before, and we're going to check the seasoning after we puree to make sure there's
How much
enough.
did it call for?
To taste. What are your taste buds telling you?
That much.
That much. Okay.
We'll try it after.
Season with your heart. This is what I tell people when it comes to adding vanilla to things. Season with your heart.
Okay. I think I need a little salt in my life today, so I may have put
There's nothing
what my
wrong
body needs.
Okay, so let's talk about listening to your body.
Yeah.
When your body is telling you something, it's important to listen. If your body is telling you to drink more water, great, drink more water. If your body has shut off, it's telling you to drink water, you have to drink water anyway, and you have to retrain it.
Right.
So this is the same thing about protein though. When your body needs more protein, typically you will crave carbohydrates. So sweet, soft, easy to eat foods. Why is this? Because your body needs energy to keep going, and carbs are quick, fast energy. The problem is then you keep craving carbs.
And they're quick, fast. They burn up fast, and
Yep.
you crash
Yep.
very quickly from a lot of carbs.
And you feel like
That's why people overeat them.
you feel like crud. And so the trick to this is breaking that cycle and eating more protein or drinking more protein. All right, now I think we're there.
Can I
All
put
right.
this in this bowl?
You can. So if we change that cycle and we add protein, typically what I see is that people perk up, their brain starts to work better, their muscles start to work better, they sleep better at night, they have more strength and stamina when it comes to getting the foods in that they were struggling with before. Does this happen right away? For some people, yes. For some people, no. So adding more protein also helps with either weight loss or weight gain. And most people look at me like I'm crazy when I say this, but I've had people who are overweight not change anything else in their diet other than adding 30 grams of protein a day. I had a lady recently who lost 30 pounds in a year just doing that. But I also see people who are underweight adding protein, gaining weight. So we want to make sure that you're getting the right ratio of protein to carbs, and then usually the fats come along. This is a higher fat food, clearly, because it's got mayo and sour cream. And we don't do anything low fat around here because that adds extra chemicals and preservatives and mouthfeel that doesn't necessarily feel right because it's fake. We like real full fat. Okay, so we have our sauce, and we have our chicken and eggs. So now we mix them together. And just as it is, oh, I didn't add the green onions yet. We'll sprinkle those in a second. This is a level 6 minced and moist. Right here. Right here. This is what I'm talking about.
Yay, Kara! Good job!
We've helped you gain 8 pounds so far.
So far.
I call that a win.
Yes.
And the so far statement is also a win.
Yes, because you know that there's more to come.
Exactly. Okay. So these green onions are now rehydrated.
I am now overweight. You want to talk about that?
More protein. So what I typically see is overweight. There's an alteration in the ratio of protein to carbs. And so if we can just figure out how to get more protein into your diet, a lot of the time you'll eat fewer carbohydrates. But this is also hard because getting it in is the hard part. How do you do it?
Protein is hard for people with dysphagia.
Yes.
So they eat the things that
are easy.
And that make you gain weight, not in a good way.
Right. And so we add
Because
protein.
they're easier.
We add protein through foods like this. So we add the chicken and the egg and make it into a chicken salad. We add protein supplements. I'm a big fan of Premier Protein. I'm also a fan of just getting protein powder that doesn't have anything else in it other than the protein and adding it and making your own shake or, yeah.
So they have this in unflavored. You can add the unflavored to anything that you cook.
And there's nothing else in it.
You can put it in your mashed potatoes. You can put it in your soup. This one is vanilla because we're making vanilla milkshakes over here recently with extra protein.
Yep.
So that's why I have the vanilla. But the unflavored is just as good, and this is a really good brand.
It is. I love the Isopure. So this is the one my mom and I a couple weeks ago made the protein gel out of. I have not been able to find an alternative sweetener-free clear protein powder. So what we need to do is try something like this and mix it and see if we can get it the right consistency in water, just to see if it'll work. So, okay. So we have level 5. I'm going to grab some spoons so Stephanie and I can taste. Grab a couple of big ones and a couple of small ones. Okay. So I just want to taste our seasoning here. Salt was a good call. I like it.
Well, pickles are salty too.
Pickles are salty
you do
too.
have to be careful with this. That could have gone bad, but at least I didn't.
You did good.
I didn't go crazy.
No, you did very good. Okay. So we're going to do level 6. Set it aside. Okay. Level 6. And then we're going to add some to our little food processor and we're going to make level 5. Do you want to start our puree?
I do.
And I like that this is extra saucy because when we're pureeing anything with a protein, we need extra liquid, extra fat, and typically we need a carbohydrate or a starch of some kind. We're not going to add one to this. But I think the egg and the mayo and the extra moisture that's in here from those pickles. Hi, Katie Lynn, is going to really help with this. So here we go. All right, I'm gonna buzz this. And I'll probably have to go in and stir it because it's gonna stick to the sides a little bit. Okay. Now, minced and moist, you may be able to do this on a plate with just a fork and mashing it with a fork if your chicken is soft enough. This is one of the reasons we love rotisserie chicken because it's usually super soft and you can do this with just a fork. Do you need a little more water? Okay. We have a minced and moist.
Very nice.
All right. So if you are working on increasing the texture of your food, a salad like this is going to be a great way to start. And one of the things that you can do, if you're doing okay with puree and you feel like you need a little bit more, is you can make minced and moist with some of it and mix it into your puree. So it's still
Use
puree.
it as your sauce.
Yep. But it's got a little more. Hi, Mama. Speak of the devil. There she is. I was just talking about when we did.
Speak of the angel.
I know. Speak of the angel. I was just talking about when we did our protein jello the other day, when you were here visiting, and here you are. I love it. Okay, so level 5, minced and moist. Level 6, soft and bite-sized. And then I'm going to grab a little bowl for our puree. Okay. So technically, because this is regular, if you wanted to do larger chunks of the chicken, you could just call that regular. Totally up to you. Oh, yeah.
It goes. So I had freeze-dried green onions or scallions, and we didn't want to put them in dried because I was afraid of it being too hard to puree, so we soaked them in water.
Yep.
So I used that water.
I love that because that's going to add extra flavor also.
I always like using some kind of liquid that adds flavor.
Agreed. And because we already added salt, salted water was not necessarily a good idea.
Too much.
But the green onion flavor, you could also do a little bit of onion powder in your water. You could do, you could do dill in your water. You could do a little bit of mustard, extra mustard in the water. Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't it? Look at that.
And you can sort of see the flecks of green in there, but they don't look like chunks. They just look like a little bit of color. Okay. Okay. So, pureed, minced and moist.
Sarah, it's so good. You know I love the pureed one. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to eat more.
Dig in. Okay. So, this is chicken, and this is looking super smooth. How is it texture-wise?
It's pretty smooth. Oops.
Ooh, that pickle flavor is really good, but not overpowering.
Has a little bit of the feel of the chicken, but it's not in chunky, not in like, just kind of. But I think if you add an extra egg, that's going to help with the smoothness.
So the other thing you could do, if you wanted to do like a chicken salad sandwich and you're pureed and you can't do bread, you take some breadcrumbs, you rehydrate them with some hot water, and then you can just sprinkle them over the top here, and that will probably help with that smoothness.
True.
Also by adding a little bit of that starch, which you could add a few into your puree as well, and that would help also. Puree is delicious. So protein also requires that you drink an adequate amount of water every day. Now, we want you to be healthy. This is why we talked about hydration. When I mentioned my mom and we did the protein jello, we were talking about hydration that day and how to get more water in. But for those of you that struggle with volume, adding the protein and the water together is not a bad idea.
Speaking of water, I'm going to drink.
Good idea. Flavor's great. Pieces are teeny tiny.
Yeah, that one's, if you can do minced and moist, that's very moist.
And this is so soft. Okay, so we want you to drink plenty of water. We want you to get protein in. So this could be in the form of Greek yogurt. Kefir, which is a yogurt drink. It could be a smoothie. Excuse me, I'm still congested from our weather. It's spring. A protein shake or smoothie. You could add protein into, if you're on like a soft diet and you can do pancakes or anything like that, you can always add protein powder into your pancake mix. Kodiak cakes make some protein
pancakes.
Like pancakes, oatmeal, etc.
Yeah.
You can add protein into your oatmeal.
Yep.
You can add eggs to...
I put protein in my coffee every morning, so I would use this. I let my coffee get to room temperature. I add protein powder. It makes sort of like, I blend it up. It makes like a latte,
Yeah.
an iced latte. And that's how I get my morning protein because I'm not a big breakfast eater. So I get 25 grams of protein just by drinking coffee.
When you add protein and you're not a breakfast eater, I recommend this to people all the time because you want to add protein first thing in the morning, within like an hour, hour and a half of waking up in the morning. Because one of those amino acids out of 20, what it does when you get just enough of it, I think it's like 3 grams, is it's like flipping a light switch on of telling your muscles to not just start working, but to start producing more muscles. So if you put protein in first thing in the morning, your body now goes, ooh, I have energy and tools coming in that I can use to start healing and to feel better. And maybe it's not about healing for you. Maybe it's about your body just working better and together better. So I had someone recently say, I need to gain weight. And I said, okay, you need to eat more protein and you don't eat breakfast. Can you add a protein bar or a protein shake in the morning? And he said, yes. A week later, he goes, I am hungry. I'm starving every morning. And I was like, good. That means that your body is now your brain is now telling your body to do that work. And you've now retrained that hunger signal. For him, it only took a week. For other people, it might take a little bit longer than that. It depends on how long your signals have been turned off. We want to retrain those signals to work at the right times. And that was with just a simple adding 30 grams of protein in a way that you can tolerate. First thing in the morning.
It works.
It does. It does. Okay, I think
we've covered it.
That's the important parts about protein. So whatever you can tolerate. Cottage cheese. We have a lot of people that add cottage cheese into things when they are blending and pureeing because cottage cheese adds healthy fat and protein. And it helps things blend super smooth. So yogurt, cottage cheese, you can add mayo if you need a little more fat to things. You can add a little bit of butter or olive oil if you have a meat and you're trying to get it to blend smoother. Add a little bit of fat. I know it sounds crazy. It works.
It does. It does.
That's part of the reason this is so smooth because we have the fat from the sour cream and the mayo. And man, Kara, this one is a winner.
Thanks for sharing, Kara.
Yeah.
I really love it.
Me too.
Cool.
Okay.
Do we have any other quick questions?
We're ready.
We are.
I do love the question right off the bat about straining my food. Is it okay to strain my food?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Yep. And there are some people that wouldn't be able to do this because of the green flakes. They're very smooth. I can't feel them, and a lot of you wouldn't feel them, but there are some people that would.
Yep.
Then you just strain it, push it through a strainer, and it will get rid of the little flakes of green onion.
Yeah.
So
This is a good one. And you could do different flavors with this. If you didn't want to do dill pickle, you could do sweet pickles. There are other fancy flavors of pickles out there nowadays, like the sweet and hot and the like all kinds. You can change up. And if you
for sure,
if you wanted to add extra garlic or you wanted to add curry flavor, you could do curry powder.
that would be good.
Really the sky is the limit with the flavor and changing things up. And if you just wanted to do egg salad, you could really flavor that any way you wanted also.
You're giving me your... Maybe I just need to drink some water.
All right. And you can do different meat proteins or just leave out the chicken. Yeah, you could do turkey. Like sliced turkey would be super great in here. You could do pork, like pork tenderloin. just make sure it's not overcooked, and that would probably be nice and tender and would behave the same way as this rotisserie chicken.
You could do tuna. You could do shrimp, like boiled shrimp.
Yep. Both of those would work beautifully in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So great point, Kara. Good job.
Very good. Okay. All right. I think we're going to call it a day. This was a quick one today, but we got down to the nitty gritty about protein. And if you have any other questions, send them to us. We would love to hear your questions.
Another episode of Cooking with Kat and Steph. If you are wondering how to work with us and get more information, we have our membership, which we're about to start a new month of all our events. So we're happy to share information about that with you. You can also go to the website and click on the membership button right at the top, dysphagiaduo.com, and you can learn more about it there. It's a really great group of people.
Yes, that's one way of working with us. If you want to, our website is in the process of being updated on one-on-one sessions. If you have any questions about that, shoot us an email at
dysphagiaduo@gmail.com. It's okay.
I almost gave you my personal email.
That's okay. Okay. All right, everybody. We're so happy you're here, and we hope you have a great rest of your week.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.